Good evening, everybody. How are we doing? We're at about 34%. All my people here in the PubTalk studio, so y'all survived the eclipse. We did okay? How was it for you? Yeah, same. I was on a Zoom call. It was fine. I felt the vibes, though. I will say I felt the vibes. I think people were really milking it. A lot of people making excuses for themselves, basing it on the old eclipse. But I'm glad to see you all survived. It's so good to be back here at Worthy Brewing. For those of you out in the lobby, if you can hear me, we have a lot of empty seats. We also have a lot of seats with personal items on them. Saving them for you. Yeah, or giveaways, exactly. We're doing premium giveaways tonight. You ask a question, you get the purse from aisle 4. I'm Shannon Kelly. I'm so thrilled to be here with you guys. Happy spring. It's full-on spring. There's no denying it. It's full-on spring. Thanks to Worthy for hosting us again, and of course, thanks to Hand in Hand Productions for our multi-room stream. We're so fancy. Yep, come on in, you guys. Come right on in. Don't be shy. I'm hosting tonight's PubTalk program thanks to MC sponsor OSU Cascades. Oregon State University Cascades is growing for Central Oregon, building a 128-acre campus with net zero goals. This is a big deal, stemming from a 40-year grassroots community effort to bring a 4-year campus to serve the region. OSU Cascades offers students OSU's academic excellence with a smaller campus setting. With a growing slate of undergraduate and graduate degree programs that include energy systems engineering, outdoor products, and a doctorate of physical therapy, OSU Cascades producing graduates who can help meet the region's economic and workforce needs. Researchers at OSU Cascades are addressing local and global issues from climate change to childhood health and welfare. And public lectures and events give community members insight into topics from ocean waves to Oregon's fungi. I'd like to list, if you'd like to join the list of community members who receive announcements about programs, events, and news at OSU Cascades, capture the QR code now. You see it right up on the screen, or go to osukascades.edu/signup, and you'll be the first to know about what's going on over there. Central Oregon PubTalk would not be possible without the support of our generous title sponsors. We're so grateful for them. Please help me in welcoming them to the stage one at a time. First up, I'd like to welcome Julianne Horner from Providence Health Plan. Julianne, how you doing, my friend? Yep, I sure can. I was like, I thought I saw her. Jordan, are you ready? You want to come on up? Jordan from Velox Systems, Jordan Smith, you're always ready. You're always ready. Yeah. Take it away.
I've made fun of Shannon for the last few months because I'm always first. And so I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'm going to be first again. And then she invites up Julianne, who's not here. So now I'm first. Oh, there she just walked in. Great. So my name is Jordan Smith. I'm with Velox Systems. We are an IT service provider here in Central Oregon. So we do all manner of IT services and cybersecurity for businesses. We become the IT department for our clients. So that's what I get to do. You're going to hear a lot from me because I'm going to be on the panel up here. So I'm not going to talk too much more about what I do. But I would like to start auctioning off that beautiful white purse in the third row. Do I hear $30? Anyone? No, we need everybody from out in the lobby to come in and take their seat that they've so patiently reserved. Yeah, there you go. All right, that's all I got.
Jordan, you're an auctioneer now. Yeah. Congratulations. Put it on your resume. That was... People wanted to bid. What is in that purse that you all know something that I don't know? Yes, for those of you who are walking in, please come in, make yourselves at home. Don't be shy. All right, second up, Julianne Horner, Providence Health Systems. Come on up, Julianne. How you doing? It seems like it was fate. We can blame it on the eclipse. Jordan, you had to go first.
Thank you, Jordan. Sorry, I was out there gabbing away, typical. This month is the month of National Minority Health, and what I want to say about that is we take it very seriously. It's a national campaign that talks about insecurities, differences in our communities, and how we can embrace everyone for the health care that they need. This year, in 2024, the theme of it is to be the source for better health, improving health outcomes through our cultures, communities, and connections. And one of the things that I'm the most proud about Bend is we are so inclusive. You will see that not only do we do that in these kind of events, but we do it in our healthcare as well. And across Oregon, we're very good at that. So my hope for you as we finish out this month is that you look at your healthcare, you include everyone, and you talk to people about inclusion in our community. Thank you.
Thanks, Julianne. Love those new glasses. We'll have to talk about that after the show. All right, next up, Frank Groundwater, Best and Krieger. Frank, how you doing? This is your first time, right?
First time.
Get it.
My name is Frank Groundwater. I do estate planning, trust and estate administration at BBK. BBK is proud to be a sponsor of PubTalk, and tonight we're giving away a $100 gift certificate to the Old Mill. And since no one is in here, your odds are pretty good at winning this. So what we'll do is, if you email me with your answer in the subject line, the first one I get will win the $100 gift card. Currently, the federal estate tax exemption equivalent is $13.61 million, but that legislation expires December 31 of 2025. So if Congress does not act, and they're not very good at acting right now, that legislation will repeal, and my question for you is, what will the estate tax go back to on December 31st of 2025?
Frank, what is the answer? You to check your emails? Do you want to come back up in a minute? You think someone can get it? Poor Congress. Rightfully the butt of every joke. It's just an easy target, isn't it? Okay, so while we're getting the answers to Frank, we're going to bring up Emma James of Roselle Wealth Management. Emma, how you doing, my friend?
Thank you, Shannon. I've been doing this 5 times now, and I still don't think I hold the microphone correctly. So
doing great. Here
here we go. I also know the answer to that question, so if you want to come find me to get the $100, I can help you out. Thanks, Mark. My name is Emma James. I'm a financial advisor with Roselle Wealth Management. We've been in Bend for over 25 years now, and we are passionate about helping folks plan for the sale of their businesses and ultimately retire into the lifestyle of their dreams. Now, I imagine that this audience has a lot of business owners, and if you're like the folks that I know, you've spent a lot of time, sweat, tears, and energy in growing your business. Now, my question for you is, have you put even a fraction of that effort into thinking about your exit or your sale? If your answer is not at all, don't worry, most folks spend under 2 years prepping for the sale of their businesses. But the problem with that is that you'll often leave a lot of the value of your business off the table if you're not proactively planning. So our solution to that is a process called the 6% Advantage. And what it does, it helps folks who are ready to sell their businesses, but not, maybe 3 years out, really plan for and capitalize on the 6 opportunities that are available pre-sale, during sale, and post. So if that's intriguing at all to you, come find me. I'd love to talk with you. My colleague Rodney Cook is here as well, and that's all I've got for you. Thanks.
Just the right amount, Emma. Just the right amount. Okay, Frank, do we have a winner? Amy Tolliver. Amy.
Not the correct answer, but at least she tried.
We're giving $100 gift cards out for effort. This is wonderful.
So the federal estate tax will roll back to approximately $7 million.
Wow.
Down from 13.5, so it's going to affect you.
I don't know if it is, Frank, but thanks for the faith.
Is Amy here?
I think Amy, yes. Congratulations, Amy. Thanks, Frank. That was fun. That was fun, especially the part where we had a chuckle about my non-existent retirement fund. Hey, I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one. Let's give a hand to all of our title sponsors: Providence Health Plans, Roselle Wealth Management, Best and Krieger, and Velox Systems. They make these events a reality, and we're so, so grateful. So now it's time for an update on the economic development efforts in our region. We're going to bring up EDCO CEO John Stark. It's been a minute since he's been up here, so how about we put our hands together for John? Take it away, John.
Are we on the stage tonight? Or on?
Just barely.
All right, how about that? Gosh, I was thinking when you were talking about the investment and where you might end up with retirement, it's like, well, if you listen to Emma from Roselle and you invest wisely, you could be in that space to need these services now instead of later from BBK, right? I might be in that boat too, so we could probably go together to counseling and figure out how to do a little better retirement, right? Glad everyone's here tonight. Welcome, PubTalk Nation! Hey, glad that you guys are all here tonight. I just want to talk about a couple things that have been in the news lately. The Innovation Hub. How many of you read about the OSU Cascades Innovation Hub? How about that? That's going to do a lot for our entrepreneurship here in Central Oregon. And I want to take an opportunity to recognize OSU Cascades for their leadership role in applying for that grant funding. Interesting. I actually have my phone ringing in my back pocket. It feels like I'm on a food truck lot trying to get my food for dinner tonight. Anyways, back to the story here. So the Innovation Hub is going to do a lot for entrepreneurship here on the high desert. I just want to applaud the efforts of them applying for funding through Business Oregon. I want to thank Business Oregon for their continued investment in entrepreneurship here in Central Oregon. What the hub will do is it'll stitch together the resources of organizations like BOW, Opportunity Knox. Many people are here in the audience from those organizations. Cultivate Bend, EDCO, of course, our Venture Catalyst program, our PubTalks, Bend Venture Conference. It'll also bring together resources from SBDC and the things that Warm Springs Tribes are doing down with their community action team. So we're super excited. EDCO's role in it not only to help support entrepreneurs like we have for the last 40 years, but more importantly, we're going to be kind of the tip of the funnel. So we're going to help identify entrepreneurs to get into this system of resources. So at the end of the day, this Innovation Hub will strengthen and optimize the way that we help entrepreneurs here on the high desert. So we're super excited about that, and I just wanted to recognize OSU Cascades for that. In other news, just today, late this afternoon, in fact, just before PubTalk released the new top 50 employers for the region by employment, and then associated community top employers as well. And I want to recognize a few companies that are kind of the gazelle type companies that are here in Central Oregon. Saran Bioscience, great growth, Epic Aircraft, Sunriver Brewing, Metabolic Maintenance Products, Personalized Nutrients, PCC Slosher, and BaseX kind of top the list for growth. BaseX, who's been a keynote on this stage, added a substantial number of employees over the last year. They went from 528 employees to 661 employees, 25% growth in 1 year. So that company is still continuing to grow at a very rapid pace. In addition to that, others that were recognized, not manufacturing, but still traded sector, Meta, St. Charles, Summit Healthcare Systems, and then also COCC had rapid employment growth as well. So that press release went to the news today. You'll see it probably in the headlines of the newspaper tomorrow and maybe some other media outlets. So if you're interested in learning about what Central Oregon's growth looks like, take a look at that. That's the culmination of about a month's research on the part of EDCO. So thanks for being here tonight. Glad everybody's here. Hopefully what I've shared tonight is of value to you, and thanks for coming. Take care.
Yeah, thanks, John. Thanks, John. I feel like we should all try to get jobs at BaseX. Those guys are killing it. Like, we all just show up like, hey, you guys got jobs for us? Okay, it's time to give a big shout out to all of our new EDCO members. Aerotech, Fort Rock Data Center, I think you guys are in the crowd tonight. Game Day Men's Health Bend, maybe with us as well. Seven Peaks Law, LLC. So good to have you. And then Johnson Benefit Planning. And PubTalk sponsor TDS Telecom has upgraded to a platinum membership. So thank you, TDS, and all the new EDCO members. Your membership and support helps us create more business opportunities for local companies and more jobs for the growing number of people who want to work and live in Central Oregon. EDCO employs local directors in Bend, Redmond, Sisters, Madras, Prineville, and Sun River La Pine to be on the ground daily recruiting, collaborating, advising, and connecting businesses. Joining EDCO as a member is is an investment in creating a sustainable economy for generations to come. There are QR codes on the table, so you can sign up directly, and you can also speak to Team Edco if you have any questions, but we'd love to have you join us. Moving on to tonight's presentation, is brought to you by Sensiba San Filippo. You can learn about Sensiba's innovative sustainability initiatives led by a dedicated team that aims to foster resilience and growth in a rapidly changing world at www.sensiba.com. And of course, BBSI, serving Central Oregon businesses for over 20 years. BBSI, Barrett Business Services, prides itself on fostering strategic partnerships with its clients, acting as an extension of their internal HR departments. By gaining an in-depth understanding of clients' businesses, cultures, and objectives, BBSI provides proactive guidance and support to help drive organizational success, reduce costs, and grow revenue for businesses of all sizes. We're really excited to welcome our keynote panel tonight on cybersecurity for the modern workplace. Joining us is Corey Ball, Senior Manager, Moss Adams, and Chief Hacking Officer, APIsec University, Jordan Smith, Founder and CEO of Velox Systems, and Mark Hinkle, Chief Operating Officer for Atro. So how about the three of you come on up here? I'm going to move this out of your way, and let's put our hands together for our three speakers.
Check. There we go. Hey, we're going to see if we can be high-tech about this. So I brought a paper copy, too, because iPads never work. But it's exciting to be here with you guys, talking about a little bit on the subjects of cybersecurity. So my name is Jordan Smith. I'm with a company here in town called Velox Systems. And what I want to do is I got voted as the moderator of the cybersecurity panel as well. So I'm going to let these guys do most of the talking. I'm going to ask some questions. We'll have some dialogue up here. And then at the end, we want you guys to queue up some questions yourselves, because we're going to take some Q&A that Shannon will facilitate, right? Awesome. So just a couple of headlines like I read today. April 25th, Kansas City's traffic system got hacked in Kansas City. So like those reader boards in larger cities where it's like, it's going to be 25 minutes to get to this side of town. That like they had to turn all those off because their whole system got hacked today. Like that's just a cybersecurity incident on a massive scale. I mean, think of the damage that could have been done, right? Like, hey, this road's closed, go that way, and you could start really affecting traffic or causing some dangerous situations. We probably all heard about the United Healthcare hack back on February 21st. And today they just, or this week, they just confirmed that not only was all their data encrypted and unavailable, but the attackers harvested data, that's patient data, going out into these bad actors, and then they paid the ransom to keep them from like using that data and advertising it on the dark web. They probably just took the money and are still going to do whatever they want to do with that. But that's the kind of thing that's happening in the news. And then where is this going? Sweden's liquor system. It's a state-run liquor system, just like the state of Oregon, got hacked, and the shelves are like empty. There's no beer, there's no wine. Guys, the world's coming to an end. I mean, this is bad stuff. So we want to be up here, and one of our focuses this evening is to really like equip you guys as our Central Oregon community, those that are leading business in Central Oregon, with just the awareness of what's going on. Give you some tools to go back to your organizations and personally that you can use to help not be United Healthcare, help not be the transportation system in Kansas City, and help not be the liquor system and spirits system in Sweden. Because all of those attacks were probably one person clicking one link and providing information that infected and attacked the whole rest of the organization. So we want our community not to be that. So I'll turn it over to these guys, and if you can give us just an intro to yourselves in your own words and a little background on kind of what you've been up to in the cybersecurity space. We'll start with Corey and work our way back, and then I'll answer last. You got an on button. You got to flip it to the one.
Test.
There you go.
Hi, My name is Corey Ball. I've been in IT and cybersecurity for the past 13 years. I've been with Moss Adams as a senior manager over penetration testing for the past 4.5 years. Quick show of hands, how many people know what penetration testing is? Okay, better than I thought. But essentially, we emulate criminal attackers in what they would do to businesses in order to help report vulnerabilities and help organizations close those gaps so that they don't get attacked as easily. Recently, I wrote this book over here called Hacking APIs. It came out about 2 years ago, and after that was released, I founded the API Security University, which is a completely free educational platform on all things API security. I've said API multiple times now, not to be confused with IPAs, which I did last night. I ordered an API instead of an IPA. Can't imagine why. And so APIs are application programming interfaces, which is even more confusing than APIs. And so what those are the web requests that are going on in the background of pretty much everything you do online. There are different estimates out there, but all web traffic, out of all of that, about 80+% is API related. Out of all internet traffic, it's over 50% of all of that is API related. And so regardless of what technology we're talking about, APIs are often on the back end orchestrating the flow of the world's most valuable resource, or at least one of them, data. So, check out the book. Check out APIsec University, completely free if you want to learn more about API security.
Hi, my name is Mark Hinkle. I am the COO of Atro. Atro does foundational cybersecurity for small and medium businesses. And so what is foundational cybersecurity? Foundational cybersecurity are the most basic and important things that any smaller business can do to protect themselves from a cyber attack. And I think there's a lot of smoke and mirrors in the cybersecurity industry, but we're trying to simplify that and get it down to those basic things that any small business can do that have outsized returns in terms of protecting themselves from a cybersecurity perspective. Prior to my time at Atro, I co-founded a company here in Bend called Manzama back in 2010. We actually won the Bend Venture Conference that year, and that was the last time I was on the EDCO stage. I said to my wife, I said, in your wildest dreams, can you believe that I'm back on stage at EDCO? And she said, babe, you're not in my wildest dreams. So that was, she's here in the second row. That's her blushing. But anyways, really excited to be here with these guys and have this discussion, and we'll try to make what I think is a pretty boring discussion, hopefully interesting. So over to you.
Yeah, nice. Thanks, Mark. I'm honored to be here with these two guys. I think if I had to guess, they're probably a lot smarter than I am in application development and application product design. I work with a company, Velox Systems. You guys probably heard of it by now. So we do end user support. So we're really kind of on the front lines, I think, as far as the industry goes, really seeing how folks are working day to day. And so that's our business has been built initially as just a service desk and kind of moved into the strategy and then specifically the cybersecurity space over the last 15 years here in Central Oregon. So we get to work with a lot of you guys and folks like yourselves in the community that are interacting with cyber threats every day. And so we've got a pretty good team. My security specialist here, Anthony McMillan, and he's designed some pretty cool solutions within our organization for our clients that help kind of build the cybersecurity background. So, or backbone of protection. So that's my role here, as well as kind of facilitating the discussion. So I was talking with these guys a couple of weeks ago, and we were just kind of like sharing a couple of, kind of some horror stories and alluding to some horror stories that we've heard, and then just kind of like trends of what's going on, which is a really interesting discussion. These guys are in some pretty cool spaces to really see a lot nationally of kind of what's going on around the country. And so I wanted to open up with just kind of setting the stage. Like, give us some trends and some stats and kind of what you're seeing happen in the cybersecurity realm right now. Mark, you want to take that first?
First. I actually brought a couple stats here because I didn't think, and with sources, because I don't think anyone's going to believe these. They're pretty sobering. A 2023 study by security company BlackFog found that over half, 61%, of small and medium-sized businesses in the US and the UK faced a successful cyber attack in the last year. 61% successful. The second study, to kind of corroborate that, said the Identity Theft Resource Center's 2023 Business Impact Report states that roughly 3/4, 73%, of US small business owners reported a cyber attack in the last year. So it's crazy. If that doesn't get your attention, I don't know what will. So the trends is that it's happening more, and it's happening more to small businesses, unfortunately. The bigger guys, the bigger companies have the resources to protect themselves, right? They've got money, they've got people in-house that are dedicated to waking up every day and doing the work that it takes to protect that company. And they tend to use what we call point solutions, which are, expensive, usually complicated, technically complicated solutions that accomplish usually one part of cybersecurity. And they cobble these things together into sort of a united front, and they wake up every day and they make sure those things are working and they monitor them, and that's what they do. And so what's happened is the attackers have moved downstream to the easier targets, which are small and medium businesses. And a couple of other very interesting things have happened in the last 5 or 10 years. One is the advent of cryptocurrency. So what happened with cryptocurrency is now ransom payments became anonymous, right, and untraceable. So law enforcement, they can't trace where those payments are coming from. So just like with United Health, these attackers, it's profitable. They get money. They get a lot of money for successful attacks. And those payments, unfortunately, are untraceable with cryptocurrency. So that's one big thing that's changed. Another big thing that's changed is AI. We hear about AI a lot in the world today, but now they can make these attacks indiscriminately. So it used to be like, I'm going to, pick a company, I'm going to attack that company, and you did it deliberately. Now they can write scripts or code that essentially will go out and just attack indiscriminately hundreds, thousands of companies at one time and look for vulnerabilities and then capitalize on those vulnerabilities. So it's not a pretty picture out there. And I would just say that if you don't have any security measures in place, you need to get them in place sooner rather than later, because unfortunately, it's no longer a question of if, it's a question of when. So, Corey, over to you.
Yes, okay. Yeah, so I was going to speak to emerging technologies as well on AI. Everyone's heard of AI? Just kidding. People are still clicking on things. Attackers are still getting in through social engineering. Even if you have a multi-million-dollar cybersecurity budget, you run a casino, rhymes with M&Ms, someone can make a phone call, and if you don't have procedures in place, then you can get the administrator password reset and lose millions of dollars a day and pay ransom payments and everything else. And so people are still clicking on things. Social engineering is still at the top. Risk for individual companies. Someone can call and attempt to gather information or take advantage of a process or send an email to try and get you to click on it. So that's still there. It's alive. Hopefully you're doing some sort of awareness training, maybe some phishing emails to train staff to be on the lookout for sketchy emails that can ruin businesses. Outside of that, emerging technologies, AI. Now, whether you're implementing AI at your business to keep up with everyone else that's doing it and to keep up with the attackers that are doing it, that introduces new risks of leaking data. And so if you have a chat bot at your company and your employees are now taking client data, putting it into that's going to another organization's servers. It's leaving your organization. Everything you've done to try and manage that data and keep it safe within your organization. This is a new way for it to leave. And so not only do you have to be on the lookout for criminals that are using this against your organization, but you also have to be on the lookout for new ways that your data could be leaked by employees trying to be more efficient and do their jobs there. Also, on the AI side, it just opens up this whole Pandora's box of issues. Attackers now can easily deploy code, inside your company, so can your developers. And so something that happened with APIs is we, cybersecurity industry, worked on closing down all the web application vulnerabilities that have been around for decades, and they were doing a pretty good job. But then APIs came along, and it was the Wild West again, where these things that have been closed down for 20 years are now starting to pop back up. And the same thing is going to happen with the emergence of AI and using that to deploy code within organizations. Just like any other technology that's new and being adopted, it is not secure yet. Normally, just as far as the trends go, that comes afterwards when people start getting breached and there's a cost involved. But right now, we're just seeing the opportunity for a business, to keep up and make more money. You deploy this, and so you'll have developers that are deploying insecure code within your environment very efficiently, and we'll see a new emergence of all sorts of attacks that once again we thought we were done with, we're protected from, but now they're going to come back because of this new way to quickly and easily deploy code.
Yeah, it's a good point on that is like, you guys have heard of ChatGPT, right? It's generative AI. It actually knows how to write malicious code, and everyone has access to that. So I, as a student or as a novice or as an aspiring hacker, like I could just go onto ChatGPT and say, hey, I want to write a PowerShell script that runs a remote procedure call and whatever. Like I could be really specific with what I want it to do, and I have to know that, and hit enter, and it'll spit out the code that you need to do that. So you no longer have to be terribly experienced or terribly advanced in software development, software engineering, which these attackers traditionally have been. It kind of opens the door up, which I think is a little bit of what Corey is getting at, to anyone being able to do that. So the availability and accessibility to that kind of, to create that code and create that malicious software is just getting really high, which is a kind of a new problem with the advent of AI. One of the things about all this is like, one of the trends I'm seeing is you used to, especially with ransomware. So I've been in the IT industry since before ransomware was actually a thing, which is weird to say. It was phishing, I think, had just come out or something. Like that was the thing. Everyone was getting phished. People are still getting phished. But now we have ransomware. And the thing about ransomware is it destroyed your data. So has anyone been attacked by, you don't have to raise your hand, but has anyone been attacked by a ransomware virus? It locks everything down and you can't access it anymore. And then there's this thing on your screen that says, if you pay us $1 million, we'll give you the code to unlock it, which they never do. Do not pay it. And that was used to be the worst case scenario. Now the worst case scenario is really what United Healthcare was talking about, how they were trying to pay ransom for people not to give their data back, but not to give it to someone else. So that exfiltration of data, now they got customer information, client information, they have invoice information. In the healthcare environment, that's really expensive, really fast, because lawsuits come with that. And that's no longer just between you and this bad actor, it's now between you and your clients who you've, because of your company, because of doing business with you, all that information's been leaked. So it gets really expensive really, really fast, and it's we long for the days where we just lost our data. Now people are giving it away, and our clients are finding out about it, and you're actually ethically obligated to tell them that that's going to happen, or that that's happened. So is that right?
Yeah, yes. Yes? Yes, that's right. A good example of that is one of the largest telecom providers in Australia last year. Historical event, the largest data breach of Australian history happened last year. APIs were related, that's why I know about it. But what happened was a new type of ransomware event. So an attacker goes in, they collect all the data using the APIs, and now they have an entire client customer database. This would be like Verizon or T-Mobile. And all that data is collected, and what they decided to do was actively ransom off that data. So they told them, you must pay us $10 million by Friday, and every hour until then, we're going to leak out 100 instances of real customer data just to prove that we have it, and it's going to continue leaking out until you pay us. So, yeah, new way to be ransomed.
Yeah. Yeah, and I keep bringing up United Healthcare because I get $5 every time I mention their breach from Providence, who's in the room. So story time. Let's get a little excited here. What's the worst cybersecurity event that you've encountered in your season in the industry?
Yeah, so, we've been talking about United Healthcare and Australian Telecom or whatever it's called. But I would imagine most people in this room are smaller business owners or work for smaller companies or medium-sized companies. So, and like I was saying earlier, it doesn't just happen to the big guys, it happens to the small guys. So this is an example of one that happened to a smaller company that involved kind of two different attack vectors. The first was what we call credential stuffing, which is a glorified way of saying you're reusing your passwords too much. And this happens all the time. I'm sure nobody in here, this room, is doing that, right? Nobody's reusing any passwords, right? Everyone's using a password manager. Happens all the time where people cross over their passwords they're using in their personal life. They use this on multiple accounts in their personal life. Not only that, but then they take it to their work world and they use them in their business world. And another interesting stat is 90% of cyber attacks come from social engineering. And what that means is through people. So your biggest risk at your business is your people. And one of the ways you can, defend against that is by educating your people. And security awareness training is super important. And making your organization security-minded, and phishing is part of that. Most attacks come through phishing. And so this one came through phishing. So, this one came through credential stuffing. So what someone was doing is they were using, again, their personal password. That got compromised. Then they got onto their work systems that way because they followed, it was probably their email. They followed them onto their work world. They got onto the work server. Then they started downloading information off the work server, including invoices and financial information. And so once they had the invoices, they understood the pattern of the invoices, the amount of the invoices, and also who the invoices were coming from. So then what they did is they called the company that was, they posed as the company and as the supplier company, and they called the company that was being attacked. And they said, hey, this is so-and-so from the company, and it didn't raise any eyebrows because that was a supplier of theirs, and they said, we're changing banks. And here's our new bank, and here's our new routing number, and sure enough, they're like, no problem. They changed over the bank, and then they started sending them fake invoices, right? And so people just paid them because the invoices looked the same, and no one thought anything about the changed bank account. Well, obviously the bank account was now going to the attackers. And it wasn't until a few months of that, until they started to see duplicative invoices and go, wait a minute, what's going on here, that they found out what was going on. So that's invoice fraud. I'm sure you guys have heard about invoice fraud. I even see that in my own personal email where I just get these invoices. I'm, what the hell is this? And it's just nonsense. Just someone sending me an invoice for something I've never heard of. Happens all the time. And the password reuse is a big problem too. There are what's called password managers you can use that are vaults. You just have one master password. It will access all your passwords. It's actually a pretty slick way to not have to remember passwords because that's annoying for all of us. But anyways, that was one that I thought was kind of interesting and was... Yeah.
It gets really expensive really quick. Corey, do you have a horror story?
Many.
Just one.
Just one. So I'm going to cheat and say we've seen many APIs, healthcare organizations, financial institutions. You can just transfer money to yourself. You can just make a few requests and get everyone's passports and healthcare information. So those are out there. But the worst one goes to a building owner in the Pacific Northwest. And we were testing out the building. So the engagement was go into the lobby, essentially, and plug in to just any Ethernet jack that you can see and see what you can do. And so we did that, and Spoilers, I mean, it's just Ocean's 11. So if you've seen Ocean's 11, we could get into all the security cameras. We can get into the physical security. So anyone that locked their doors, but you have electronic locks, we could just open all of those, see all the cameras, and then also get into all the boardrooms throughout the entire building. So even though these are all individual different businesses throughout the building, they're connected back in and networked back to that port in the lobby. And so we were able to go from there and then get into all the different businesses and all the different boardrooms and open and go into them if we wanted to and steal all the computers and walk away and delete the footage afterwards. Yeah, that's right. No cyber criminal for me. But yeah, that's probably the worst, just being able to go into any lobby, and it's a public lobby for the most part, so anyone could have done that at any point and walked away and no one would really know. Yeah, I think for me, just a quick story, the worst time, we've had people get ransomware and all this stuff. We have backups, we got, we can reconstruct data, like all of that. We've handled those. The worst one that we've ever come to is going to a new client and their whole system was destroyed, and the only person that knew any of the passwords to get anything back was a former employee who was now disgruntled and no longer liked the company, and the attack was from the inside. That was something we weren't their provider yet. We came in to replace that person, and I'm like, there's no way back from this. Like legally, this person is on all of the accounts that you're trying to get access to, and there's gonna be years of legal work to try and get you, as the owner of the business, even though you're owner of the business, into access to some of these really large things, like your domain name at GoDaddy or whatever. Like that's really, really hard to recover if you don't have the login and credentials, or you're not the person that originally opened the account. So super big piece of warning: if you have only one person that's got the keys to the kingdom in your organization, like even if you trust them, they could also die. Sadly, God forbid. But if they did, like you wouldn't, then you're really up the creek because you can't even like sue them to get it back. Get hit by the bus, exactly. So we just have a few more minutes before we start taking questions from the audience. And what I would love from you guys, I think we've got some IT individuals, either in the IT department, IT managers, CIOs, that sort of thing, that have come to this. What can we do as IT personnel within our organization to get, first of all, anybody from IT in their company here? Yeah, who is the worst person to try and get to follow cybersecurity protocols? The CEO, right? The owner, yeah, absolutely. And so how do we convince our leadership team and the people that are really, writing the checks and checking our decisions to get some traction on what we know needs to be done? So it's essentially like your get out of jail free card. You can only use it a couple times. Going the scare tactic route, which is the average cost of a data breach for a company in the US is just under $10 million. And so do you have insurance? Does your insurance cover that? And then are you doing everything you need to keep your insurance and make sure that you're covered on that end? And not to mention, there's the financial side of it. Can you survive that? Maybe, maybe not. When I brought it up, they could not. They couldn't survive 10% of that. And so they were happy to start listening to the rest of the conversation, which was less on the scare tactic side and more on the solution side. Make sure you're prepared with that. But yeah, making sure that those things are in place and making sure that they're aware of the risk helps start the conversation. And then with you coming in with the solutions that are across the board, some things are going to cost more, some things are going to cost less, and how long it's going to take to implement that. And then you could also turn it into a much more positive conversation of like, what sorts of things can you do in your organization? Can you pass an audit that can be shared with your clients, that you can share on your website, that demonstrates that you have a certain level of cybersecurity and that you value your clients' data? So are there opportunities that could also come out of this instead of just the scare tactics? Yeah, I would say, and a plug for Corey, a penetration test is really good too. Having somebody come in and try to break. And chances are, if your CEO is the person that's the most difficult to follow the rules, they also probably have the most access
to the data in your organization. And that's going to come out in a pen test super easy. And they're usually relatively low cost. I mean, compared to like a breach or even implementing solutions that you're trying to convince them to do, you can come in and just say, hey, let's just have someone come in and see what our vulnerabilities are. So I want to be conscious of time for Q&A. Sorry, Mark, I didn't give you a chance to
How about a round of applause for our panelists?
I know.
Well, this has been an absolute delight. Nightmare, really nightmare. So many opportunities for criminal masterminds out there. Gosh, who knew? Do I have questions from the audience? Yes.
Yeah, so United Healthcare paid over $1 billion, is what their charge was for that. If you were advising them, what should they then do?
Okay, so this is a great question. United Healthcare paid over $1 billion to deal with this situation. What would you have advised them to do? Love this question.
Yeah, so definitely need to get the right people in the room. There are actual brokers now for ransomware, so third parties that sit in the middle and make sure that they'll hold any ransom that's paid, and completely against paying those and funding terrorism and every other horrible thing and all the wrong people in the world. But when they do, make sure you're doing it where you have a broker in the middle that's going to make sure that the criminals that have call centers and have very professional things, because it's a business, a legal business, and so make sure you have the brokerage in between that is going to work through that horrible deal that they have to go through and make sure that both ends are held up.
So it's basically an escrow company for cyber attacks.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. Does First American Title do that? Anyone know?
Would it be better to just split the pot with the people, like, sorry, but here's some cash? I don't know. Maybe. Okay, any other questions? But yes.
What is the best practice for working on public networks?
What is the best practice? Yeah, this is a great question. What is the best practice for working on public networks, small business owner, independent people working in coffee shops, et cetera, airports?
Yeah, great question. Don't work in public. No, I'm just kidding. Hopefully your company provides you a VPN if you're traveling a lot, and that's an acronym for a virtual private network. And what that does is that secures your email while you're, like, let's say at an airport or something like that, or a cafe. But I think a good rule of thumb is just don't log on to, from a personal perspective, don't log on to your bank, don't log on to your brokerage account when you're at an airport or in an internet cafe. Save that for home, but try not to do that. But from a work perspective, it's really if your company doesn't have that, that's what they should be doing for you to effectively work in a non-secure environment. Another question?
Yes.
If you're going to be working in a public network, the computer you've got, make sure it's got an up-to-date OS or security patch supplied. Make sure you've got endpoint protection, something like Microsoft Defender installed and up and running, and you've taken all the updates. Thirdly, MFA, multi-factor authentication on all your accounts, especially your email account. But obviously anything critical like banks, any way you can, do so. What's the other one? Oh, firewall. Make sure your host firewall on your computer is enabled. And normally things like Defender and other antivirus endpoint protection software will alert you if it isn't. But if you do those things, it's great. If you're connecting to your work, use their VPN. If your work is allowing you to access their properties without VPN, it probably means it's on the open internet anyway. So that's really their problem at that stage.
Yeah, so use the VPN, multi-factor authentication. Also, what was the other thing? Computer hygiene.
I was hoping somebody would bring that up. So there are specific technical controls that we need to put in place, and it's like, man, if we could explain that to you in 25 minutes, that we would have loved to, but you have to find somebody like this guy sitting right over there that knows those items specifically and can put those controls in place. That's why I was kind of asking, like, there's IT professionals in here, like, let's give them the tools and kind of equip them to bring this back to their organization.
It's almost like there should be like a public safety workshop offered.
I know, we need like a full hour or two.
I could show with my janky laptop and make y'all cry, like, it's working for now. Yeah, not great. Okay, do I have any other questions? Yes, in the back.
What advice would you
Okay, advice would you give to users or owners of company who are hesitant to adopt MFAs?
So we run into this all the time. That's my plant. The biggest thing about it is like you think MFA and it's like, oh, I gotta like wait for a text message, type in a 6-digit code every time I log into something. And the reality is it's not true. That's often not the way it works, and certainly not once we get it, implemented into a business or enterprise environment. I would set up a demo, honestly. Like I think that's the most effective way. Just get the phone and the computer and log them in and show them how easy it is, because guys, they've made it so easy. You just have your phone and you push a button, or you have your phone and you type in 2 numbers that it shows you on the screen. And then there's best practices and policies in place. It's like, we're going to remember you for a little bit when you're from this device, from this IP address, in this session. You're not doing it constantly, right? And it's like, it's that fatigue of having to do it over and over again that actually makes this less secure, because people stop watching, they stop paying attention, and they just start clicking. That's how Uber got hacked. I'll take money from any Lyft representatives in the room. That's how Uber got hacked last year, is one of their higher up guys, the same thing. Just like you said, it's like somebody broke their password and they kept seeing the ching, 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 MFA, 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 and they finally just gave up because it was obnoxious.
Another thing I would encourage everyone to do that's a business owner, if you work at a company, is you need to have a policy in place, right? Everyone needs to know what's expected of them and what the rules are, right? Like you can't just have it be the wild, wild west where people don't understand what the boundaries are. And so it starts with some really basic things like having a policy and having education and having awareness and talking about these things. As far as two-factor authentication, multi-factor specifically, I go back to stats all the time. We use stats a lot when we're selling our solution, and it's just like, if you don't believe us, here's the stats. Like the stats I read to you guys, and I mean, if that doesn't get someone's attention to make them realize that this is important and necessary, then I don't know what does, But it's funny, the company that acquired us, that acquired Manzama, we were just a small company in Bend, Oregon, and they got acquired by this big New York-based software company, and they had all these things in place. And I was the guy that was super resistant and was like, this is bullshit. Like, why do I have to do all this stuff, But it's funny that now I'm like, oh yeah, that's really important. Things have changed a lot since then too. The world's gotten a lot more dangerous, but yeah, it is important.
Earlier, Mark's horror story was credential stuffing, which is defeated by multi-factor authentication for the most part. And if you want a fun thing you can do, you can Google, have I been pwned? Yep, and then take the CEO's email address, and then you put it in there, and then you can see everywhere their email has been breached and all the passwords that they've had that
often
have been
in plain
leaked.
text.
Yeah, and you can often see those and share those with the CEO, and hopefully that's a convincing argument. Not to go scare tactics again, that's not my go-to.
The last piece I'll say is often people in that position are looking for valuation in their company, and there's an extreme value to having cybersecurity protocols and policies in place when you do go put that company up for sale.
Well, that's a bright spot. Thank you for that, Jordan. So much of this I hate. Okay, I have one final question. So have we ever caught the criminal mastermind? Because we all think it's like the sinister guy with the long curly, is it an old granny? In my mind, it's an old granny. Have we ever caught one of these people?
I think more typically they're like 14-year-old kids, seriously. As you would expect with hoodies on and, usually offshore, but not always. But that's a great question. I don't know if they do. You hear about this happening all the time. You're like, did they ever catch these guys? Like, are we doing anything here? It seems like the success rate is a lot lower than with like shoplifters or car burglars or something, But I don't know. Do you guys have any data on that or?
I got caught when I was in middle school. I didn't know my email could be traced that easy. I sent a dumb one to the White House.
I thought you meant stealing stereos.
You sent an email to the White House?
Yeah, and then they figured it out and it raised.
And it was nasty?
Yeah, well, no, it wasn't that, but it was like, it was like they could tell it was a kid, and they knew exactly where it came from.
Did you get a knock on the door?
No. It was like it wasn't that. It was the librarian figured it out and got a hold of me, but so I wasn't gonna get arrested or anything, but I did, yeah.
But look at you now, so there is hope. Okay, I think that's like the perfect way to end this. Well, I appreciate you all so much, Jordan, Mark, and Corey. You guys are awesome. Thank you to our question askers. I hope you enjoy the book. Thanks, guys. How about another round of applause for our panelists? Perfect. It's so amazing how smart you guys are, and I appreciate it so much. Okay, so now we are on to our first company pitch presentation, sponsored by COCC, Central Oregon Community College, a proud sponsor of PubTalk. Did you know that COCC is expanding to the Madras campus? This spring, the college will break ground on a 24,000 square foot facility on land generously donated by the Bean Foundation. And the new building will host nursing, medical assisting, early childhood education programs, and ensures Jefferson County residents can complete their degrees closer to home. The expansion will also include a new child care facility for up to 100 Jefferson County children, operated by the Children's Learning Center. COCC is investing in careers, community, and care for Jefferson County. Visit cocc.edu/growing together to learn more. And TDS, a proud supporter of EDCO and PubTalk events, and values being a part of the Central Oregon business community. TDS offers high-speed internet, phone, and TV, providing connectivity and integrating all your favorite streaming video services for both home and business. Since TDS acquired Ben Broadband 10 years ago, roughly $100 million in infrastructure investments have been made across Central Oregon, future-proofing connectivity needs, as well as ensuring the most advanced technology and network available. Their fiber optic network continues to expand through new business and residential construction projects to keep up with our rapidly growing community and its technology demands. As a pillar of TDS's core values over the same 10 years, TDS has given back nearly $1 million to charitable partners such as the Giving Plate, Boys and Girls Clubs, the Humane Society, Family Access Network, Sleep in Heavenly Peace, Latino Community Association, and several other great charitable organizations providing local impact. Please go to hellotds.com for further details. Next up, we are thrilled to invite to the PubTalk stage Brannon Santos, CEO and founder, ChatGems. With a 12-year career spanning from sales development representative to startup executive in the SaaS sector, Brannon recognizes the transformative power of artificial intelligence in reshaping go-to-market strategies. He's here to show how ChatGems is reshaping go-to-market strategies. So take it away, Brannon. Thanks, love.
There we go. Hi, everyone. Brannon Santos, co-founder, CEO of ChatGems. We are a software organization using AI to talk with prospects and customers, collecting insights, creating deals, and saving our customers money. This is my young family. Next slide. Oh, beautiful. So sorry. Perfect. This is my young, supportive family that's allowing me to build this business basically in my garage for the last 11 months and on various Zoom calls all day. We have some exciting traction to share. Just recently closed our first customer after launching a pilot the 1st of March. 6 weeks later, a new customer paying us $36,000 a year. Very excited about that. But more notably, I think more validating is the CEO and CRO invested in the company. They're our first meaningful angel investors, which is a super cool way to round out that first customer story, I think. We've got some really exciting pilots and pipeline growing with some of the logos that you see up there. What we do, just diving in at a high level, and then I'll kind of back up to the problem that we're solving, but what we do is we use AI to lead user interviews across the full spectrum of the customer journey. So starting, even ahead of the top of the funnel, with market research, we're utilizing AI to hold those interviews so we can take that information back to the business customer and they can make smarter decisions with that. Throughout the customer journey, we do win-loss analysis and then we do exit interviews with canceling and churning customers. Why we're doing this? There's 3 fundamental questions that most, if not every business asks themselves every day. It's how do we get customers? How do we win more, lose less? And how do we retain those customers and grow those customers? And whole categories and industries have built around answering those questions. One of the key insights that I think we have that we think is going to prove true is AI is going to disrupt every one of those industries, and it's probably going to consolidate those. And that's what we're building for is that consolidation. So we use conversational AI to interview individuals. We entice them to come into those interviews with a gift card or the ability to donate some money to their favorite donation. And we take those insights, again, back to the business users. We also use AI to analyze the chat history that they just had with that bot to arrive at insights and execute follow-up tasks. Why we're doing this, why this is important, is today it's manual, expensive, and it's declining in efficacy. So the ways that we're reaching out to businesses today is getting slowly more and more tough to break into our prospects. So cold emails, cold calls are declining in efficacy, and we think that there's a new time and a new way to engage with our prospects and customers. And partially it's by paying them for their time and their insights directly, rather than third-party providers. So this is one of the ways that we're helping sort of fight spam, is by engaging with individuals when they opt into these interviews. It's also old school. So 70% of buyers today prefer chatbots to talking to a seller, and that we think that this trend is only going to continue. 90% of, oops, sorry about that. 90% of the decision-making roles in organizations are going to be consumed by millennials and Gen Zs by 2030. So again, we think that the way that we engage with prospects and customers is going to be changing over time. Getting into kind of a real example of how our software is used, this is Carbon6, our first customer. They use us in two different ways. They invite their prospects and customers into a ChatGems interview via targeted outreach via email. So we are reaching out to prospects that their SDRs were not able to engage with. We take that recycled list, we run it through ChatGems, we invite them into these interviews, and we're able to conduct them and open up opportunities for them. They're also utilizing a new way that we just kind of came up with called a blind study, where they can make posts like this on LinkedIn. They're doing one on Facebook groups and in Reddit, where Amazon sellers, their target customers, they provide software to Amazon sellers where they live. So they're going to get a flood of new contacts, new leads that participate in these interviews, and they're going to get high fidelity information on them because of the questions that we're asking. So the interviews that we've conducted, we just did 60, I think, today for this month, and 26 of those turned into demos for their sales team. What we're doing is asking the AI to do first qualification. So ask them about their Amazon store. How much annual revenue do they do through it? What products and services do they sell? Then a portion of discovery. What pains and goals do you have as an Amazon seller? And then we ask the AI to do some deduction. Based off of Carbon6's products and services, how well does this conversation align to those products and services? So it states an argument to that user and says, based off the conversation so far, we feel you are a fit for Carbon6 in these various ways. Do you agree? And would you like a demonstration of their product? And if they say yes, we do some intelligent routing. We look at the account executive that has availability, and we drop their calendar link in there for this person to book a demo with them. If they say no, no problem, fair enough. Here's the link where you can learn more at your own pace. So again, 60 interviews completed, 26 of those converted into demos. This sort of bypasses their SDR team that was unsuccessful in booking those demos in the first place, thus beginning to save them money and drive revenue for the organization. Post-interview, we do some cool things as well. We, again, book those calls. So if somebody didn't book a call, but they said that they wanted a demo in the interview, we follow up. The AI actually sends an email to that individual, intros in the account executive, and says, again, these are the points of alignment. If you'd like a demonstration, here's their calendar link. And because that sales rep is CC'd in there, they can always come over the top into that email and try and book that demo with them. So we're seeing that very effective for them. I mentioned sort of that high fidelity information that we get on each of these individuals because of it's an interview. We either create a contact in their CRM or we enrich a contact in their CRM for them. And then we alert relevant team members via Slack or Teams, whatever they use internally to communicate. So after an interview is conducted, if there's product insights in there, we will alert the product manager. Or if there's a sales opportunity in there, we'll alert the sales team to those insights that were collected. Okay, so what? So hopefully that was kind of cool, kind of interesting. At the end of the day, what does it mean for a business? By installing this and just this month, driving those demonstrations for the client, It went from $500 to $2,000 per book demo for Carbon 6 to $34 on average per demo that we drove, because AI was kind of enabled to do it sort of by itself. Without ChatGems, a lot of money goes into research, reports, content creation from their marketing team. As a byproduct of the interviews that we are creating, they can generate reports. They literally created a really beautiful report for LinkedIn to fulfill their initiative to be thought leaders in the space, just from utilizing ChatGems to create this report based off of the chat histories that we've collected already. And then finally, churn. They're at 13% for one of their products. We're helping them decrease that churn, and they were able to win back one customer so far from us doing their churn interviews so far. So we nearly paid for ourselves in that single month with what we've done with them so far. Nothing particularly unique about Carbon 6 as it relates to them as a business. They're a mid-market software provider, of which there are 6,000 in the US. Multiply that by our average sales price, and we see $140 million that we can go get in the next few years. And then the sky's the limit. It's a very big market that we could be helping. Myself, as mentioned, been in SaaS for the last 12 years, mainly in go-to-market leadership roles. I've met some brilliant people that I've excited enough to get to work with me full-time on this crazy idea. Pavel being one of them. This is his 5th startup. He's an MIT grad. He is my CTO and my AI expert. We have another AI expert that's a mathematician that's using all of his skills on our back-end Python code and helping me in many ways there. We've got amazing advisors and investors that are helping us in various ways as well. If you would like to be supportive in any way, you can utilize a QR code. You can jump into one of the ChatGems interviews and kind of feel it out for yourself. It's going to ask you questions. If you're an accredited investor and you meet the qualification criteria, it'll give you my calendar link, and we can have a conversation more in depth about the round that we're raising a pre-seed. If you want to check us out, we're chatgems.ai. My email is Brannon at ChatGems. Again, we are using AI to do interviews at scale for organizations. We think that we're going to automate 80% of the go-to-market function in B2B SaaS and many other organizations. Hope you enjoy this. Thanks so much.
I'll do some Q&A. I just love to see people using AI to solve problems like this, where like no one's bummed that they're not having to run this anymore and it's automated. I'm just wondering how you got the idea for this.
As a VP of sales at my last organization, in a previous role to that, I was running a win-loss program. And what that means is we just look at the CRM, we look at the reasons why our sales team has won deals and has lost deals. It's full of bad and biased data. And I would take that data right to the boardroom, and I would say, this is what we need to do. Product, it's all your fault. And it would just cause infighting, trust would break down. It was a bad process because the data was bad. So one thing that organizations do is they pay a third party to go do these interviews for them. The COGS don't make sense, the unit economics don't make sense now in a day and age of AI because the human labor is a big cost component of it. So when I saw GPT-3 come out and we started to ask it questions, I wondered, could it ask me questions? And could I build this system that allowed it to conduct interviews at scale? And then we can do this automated win-loss program. That was the first use.
It's so cool. It's so cool. Okay, questions for Brannon from the audience. Yes.
Are you using commercial AI LLM, or are you using open source, and what are you using?
Are you using a commercial AI LLM or open source or commercial? Like which application are you actually using?
Yeah, for most of the AI runs that we're using today, we're using OpenAI, making calls out to them, but we're going to be using our own model here soon.
Okay, any other questions for Brannon? What's been the most exciting thing that you've seen so far? You've got your first customer, like they're thrilled and they became investors, so that obviously went really well, but like specifically, what are you seeing that's been really helpful for companies?
I think it was amazing when, this thesis that we had that people would engage with AI and they would share details about their business. It was just a thesis at the beginning. And then when we launched our first one and we saw how open and honest and candid people were, it was pretty eye-opening. So we were able to get these interviews done in like 5 to 7 minutes, and the level of detail that they're sharing is pretty amazing.
That's so cool. Okay, and then what about, again, I mean, I have to ask it given the last panel, security issues. How's that going?
Luckily, if I had my co-founder back up there, luckily I've got some great people that are way more technical than I am that are working with us to keep that data safe. So obviously we need to take many procedures and get our SOC compliance and all things that we have on the roadmap. But so far, so good.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear it. Okay, any other questions for Brannon? Yes.
I just have one question. How is this, your new client, how does the sales team fit?
Yeah.
Because I could see it going either way.
How's the sales team at the new company? How are they like? How are they receiving this new plan?
It's a great question. One that I was worried about. Being a former SDR, former salesperson, was this going to replace it? And luckily it's not. It's opening up a new channel for them. So again, these are the leads that they were not successful in opening up with. If they didn't want a demo, they go right back to the SDR to work. If they do want a demo, they go to the AE. So this is just a new channel of demos and revenue sources for this business right now.
So it's actually making their
It's
job
helping
easier.
them hit their
and,
numbers, yeah.
Yeah, they're more successful. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Any other questions for Brannon? Okay, well, this is just so cool, and I hope you'll come back and give us an update on how it's going. And I wish many, many new large customers for you. So thanks so much for sharing with us, Brannon.
Thank you very much.
It was a fun question, and the answer was even better. Yeah, loved it. All right, it is starting to feel a little bit like summer here in Bend, and that means concert season at Hayden Homes Amphitheater is just around the corner. EDCO is happy to partner with Live Nation to give away 2 tickets to Maren Morris for Friday, May 31st. Are we feeling excited to go to a concert, a Maren Morris concert? Okay, so pull out your raffle tickets. Who wants to win? Yeah, okay. I hope you all win. All right, so the winning ticket is, are you ready? 9, 4, I'm sorry, I got it wrong. 9, 7, 4, 8, 5, 8, 9. Where's my winner? Last 4 digits, 8, 5, 8, 9. 8, 5, 8, 9. You got it? Woohoo! How about a round of applause for our winner? You're going to a concert. How fun. Okay, I'm going to give you this, and then you're going to talk to Megan about your actual tickets. Have fun. That's so exciting. How about a round of applause for Live Nation? Thanks, Live Nation. I love giving away prizes. More prizes, please. Okay, tonight's next company pitch is sponsored by Umpqua Bank. Umpqua Bank is a proud sponsor of the EDCO's PubTalk series. At Umpqua Bank, local bankers proudly serve our community by providing the expertise to help build and maintain meaningful relationships. Umpqua Bank, together for better. Next up, we will hear from Ahoya founder and CEO Emily Hoy. Emily has a rich history in the action sports industry as a graphic designer, artist, and women's art director for Volcom, and has collaborated as an artist with brands such as Smith Optics, Teva Footwear, and Moment Skis. After moving to Bend nearly a decade ago, she found her way into the outdoor industry through work with Hydro Flask, Rumple, Topo Designs, Blackstrap, and more. Emily's passion is storytelling through art, color, and design in a way that elevates products and constructs commercialized collection-based assortments. She thrives on finding that sweet spot of acknowledging trends and pushing boundaries while staying on brand. Welcome, Emily.
Oh, yeah. Uh-oh, got some weird things happening. Can this just be karaoke up here? Like, way comfortable doing karaoke. Don't mind the man with the curtain, right? I'll move this over here. Okay, just a couple little things. Yay! I'm so excited to be here, everybody. Oh yeah, we need all the things. We got some tricks up our sleeves. All right. Ahoya, everyone! Like Shannon said, my name is Emily Hoy. I'm the founder and CEO of Ahoya All Seasons Adventure Tubes. Whether you're sledding the mountain or floating the river, we're making serious tubes for a little less serious people, a little less serious adventures. And we really want to create community connections, having river floats, sled races, Sunday floats, you name it. We're gonna make a really durable, fun tube, but it's also, you're gonna make a statement no matter where you are. I'm pretty pumped, and you definitely told them a little bit about me, but I'll tell you a little bit more. I was born and raised on a farm in Ohio, and at 27, I was hired as the very first female graphic designer for Volcom Stone. It was pretty cool. I packed my U-Haul, moved to Southern California, worked my way up to art director, and yeah, I had some featured artist collaborations along the way with Teva, Smict Optics, even The Gap. Pretty cool. But after a while, I was really craving getting back to my nature. Whoop. Oh, I feel like Britney Spears here. I really was craving getting back to my roots. So 9 years ago, I moved to beautiful Bend, Oregon. Who doesn't love it here? Never going back, right? I worked my way into the outdoor industry, got a job with Hydro Flask. I'm a senior graphic designer there and color designer. And my claim to fame is the ombre bottle, which we love. Scott Allen, Scott Allen knows all about it. Really love. Oh wait, I need the clicker, I think. Oh. Awesome. All right. So after moving to Bend, I absolutely fell in love with floating the river, like just being on the water, slowing down, connecting with friends, connecting with nature. This is me and all my girlfriends at my bachelorette party. I know you're here. Clap. There you are. This is us floating in Sun River. We spent 3 hours on the water. It was awesome. But after a while, I really started hating the tube experience. This thing, this pool toy right here, it would bust, the mesh part would fall out, there's a hole, can't even find that little tiny hole, and then, oh my God, where do you put the patch kit? I forget where you put the patch kit to even patch it. Really deflating, pun intended. And then I hated seeing all the trash at the wave park. Like, look at all the trash that would end up here, knowing that it would go into landfills. I literally dug that river rat out of the river one day, and I was like, well, that's the perfect name for that one. One day, my friend Amy Tolliver, you're famous, you won the raffle before, my ride or die, my tube float sister right here in the green, shows up with a fishing tube. I was like, where did you get this? Craigslist. I was like, this is amazing. There's all these pockets and webbings and straps, but you know, it was really kind of boring colors, but they lasted. All of our friends were like, where'd you get that? Where'd you get that? Here's me floating. I'd always bring a pair of shoes for my feet and a pair of shoes to navigate. So what happened? I really wanted to find a solution for this problem, for this lack of durability. So, lo and behold, are you ready? Can I get a drum roll, please? Welcome to the Riverlution! Woo! And welcome, oh shit. Woo! And welcome my beautiful husband, Justin Novicki. You can call him Babe too. He goes by that, Babe. But he is now co-founder in this crazy adventure, and I'm so lucky to have him. He's a sales master. If you know Justin, he could sell a tube to an Eskimo in the Sahara Desert, like no doubt. He is a sales magician. Oh, I forgot about all my notes, so that's okay. Anyways, I want to tell you about my these two colorways that we're coming out with. This is a glow with the made for your ass, not the trash. That is the solution, right? Made for your ass, not the trash. This is neon. You're going to reflect in the water because we are the water. We want to see ourselves in this nature. And then just glowing with the flow of life, right? As we float down the river. And then this awesome print is inspired by my formative years growing up in the 80s and 90s inspired print. And it's kind of like the Big Bang. And like we're all just floating on this giant rock called Earth right now. We are all floating. Like enjoy the ride, right? So we have these two awesome colorways. And let's get into the cool stuff. You know, this is product with a purpose, you guys. Absolutely want to nail that home. Look, you're really earning your employee of the month. You know, I will tell you, like as the only employee of the month, they really earned Vanna White right here. Anyways, so we have this awesome carry strap. which also doubles as a tube connector so you can float Zilla with all your friends down the river. How awesome is that? We have a beautifully designed daisy chain here. This is sunset design here, also as a belt, fashion. So this is not going anywhere, right? Like your Intex tube, who loses their rope? I lost the rope on this one, like literally. This is staying here. It can connect all your things, and they're not going to end up in the bottom of the river. We want to put Loot the Deschutes out of business. No more pulling stuff up from the river, right? Awesome. We have a beautiful seat here for sledding. Your butt sits up off the snow, and you have your drainage here for water. Nice, comfy seat for your ass, not the trash, right? And then what else we have here? Oh, we have this beautiful, comfy backrest. Look at this thing. But wait, it is storage too? This is amazing. Oh, and then hand pedals for navigating the river. You know, when you're at that fork in the river, you're like, am I gonna go left? Am I gonna go right? I don't know which way to go. These will help you. Everybody knows there's that slow part in Bend where you're like all up on the bank. You see people hanging out at the bank. I'm like, dude, you could just get out of that like slow section. So the hand paddles are awesome. They clip right here on your daisy chain. Look how cool that is. What else we got here? Oh, hydro flask. You can clip your hydro flask right on the side. Like, look at that. Beverage holder. Everybody, where's you put the drink? You clip it on here, right? Everybody has a hydro flask. And a cooler. Look at that. You can put all kinds of stuff in it. Like, this is endless. So you're going to pull a rabbit out next. And then just make sure, whoa. And make sure you put your empty cans back in the storage. You can even collect litter along the way and put it in the backrest, okay? Let's be responsible here, people. And then what else we got? Oh, my God. Oh, in case it hails out on the river? Oh, no. Oh, yeah. Sledding. You guys, all your sledding, your hats, your extra gloves can go in the back here. And I want to tell you about this material. This is an outfitter grade PVC, and it's cold crack resistant, so it can go from sun to snow, any adventure you choose. Look at that. Awesome. And you know, the artwork is a fun point of differentiation too. Awesome. Thank you, Vanna. He's really getting that, getting that employee of the month. Woo! All right. Oh, yes, I forgot. So if there's nothing in here, you can blow on the go. You can have this self-adjusting headrest. How did I forget this? Oh my gosh. Awesome. I know. Well, how cool is that? All right. So who else is doing tubes? Actually, a lot of people. But I'll tell you what, nobody else is doing this tube. At the low end, we have our Intex tubes. It's a $220 million they made in the revenue in 2023, but it's a pool float. It's gonna bust on you. At the high end is NRS, which run about 200 to 250. They're actually really good durability, but guess what? They lack the functions that we have here and the cool style points. Like, who's going to be more hip on the river? You know what I'm saying? So, also, I just want to let everybody know, our first year, direct to consumer for 1 year, and then second, third year, we're going to research some wholesale options and take it from there and see what happens. Yes. All right, let me go to the next slide. All right, tube culture. We really want to start this in Bend, but this is going to be nationwide, absolutely. There is so much floating. Every time we meet somebody, they have a new place. Oh, have you heard about this place for floating? There are so many. There's a whole float fest around camping and music. That's a whole float fest in Texas. Madison River, Salt River, Arizona, I've been. They have themed floats. Southeast USA, there's all these natural springs and stuff in Florida. Anyways, I just want you to check out these numbers for a minute. In Bend alone, good job, babe. In Bend alone, 250,000 people floated the river last summer. There was one day recorded, and Amy knows because she works for Bend Parks and Rec, 8,000 people were recorded to float the river in one day. Can you imagine how that would spread through the cities are even bigger than Bend is. Like, we're still a small town. Can you imagine all throughout the US, that culture? And we want to do river cleanups. We want to do sled days. I can see us at Ronde de Band doing a sled race, like all these festivals, and just really igniting the community. I don't even know why I have these up here. I'm not even following. All right. Okay, why are we here? Join the revolution. Yeah, you know, y'all want to change the world. Sign up. Or actually follow our journey on Instagram. This summer is going to be a test tube summer. We're going to be out at the wave park. We're going to invite you guys to come out, try our tubes, see what you think, follow our journey on Ahoya Life. But also, you better sign up for that newsletter because we have a limited amount of tubes that we're coming out with. And my mom, she's right here, she says we're going to sell out. So if mom says we're going to sell out, you guys better sign up for that newsletter, I'm telling you. So, with that being said, we really appreciate everyone coming out. Like, our hearts are so full. Like, we really thank you, EDCO, for having us. There's so many amazing things in this town. Opportunity Knocks, Ashley, Deschutes Women in Business, like Cultivate Ben, Bow. Bend Outdoor Works is unreal. We would not be on this stage without them. Annie and Ryan Price have been there from the beginning. And Tara, Palmies, go get you a Palmies. Seriously, all the support in this town has been unreal. So thank you. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, everybody, right? Thank you. All right. We just have one thing left to say. Do you have it? All right. Wait, where is it? Oh, okay. We want to leave you on this note, okay? Which tube would you rather have? Woo! Ahoya or bust, right? Ahoya or bust. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, you guys, another round of applause for Ahoya.
I told you.
I know, you did tell me, and I've been looking forward to it all month. I have to tell you, I love everything about this, and I will say that when you almost took out this banner, I was like, it's Palmies all over again.
Oh, yeah.
What is happening?
Exactly.
If they start shotgunning cans of, I'm going to call my mom. Okay. This is amazing. I love it so much. It's so fun.
Yes.
How long did it take you to come up with the first version of the tube?
I will tell you, honestly, we've been working on this for a good 3 years. I had the idea for a couple years and just finally put it into fruition. So I have a full-time job too. So this is like two full-time jobs. So it probably would have happened a lot sooner. But the idea was there since probably 2018, and then 2021 was like, okay, I'm calling my buddy and we're designing this.
I love it. I love it. Okay, do I have any other questions from the audience for these guys? I mean, I have a lot of questions myself. Yes.
I have one. So, what's the price point?
What is the price point?
Do you want to take that?
These are going to run right around the 225, 250 range, which we're already finding our competitors are doing the same pricing or even a little bit below, and we're offering more. We're offering the style, the art aspects, all the features that give you all those benefits. So it's going to be a smidge more or right around with everything else, but you're going to get so much more. And it's going to be the last tube that you buy. That's the most important.
The first tube, that'll be your last.
Yeah, stop buying all those other ones.
Like lifetime value.
No, I mean, it will be a pleasure to buy a tube for life. Let's be real. In the back. Will they come with a cool patch kit?
Absolutely, girl. And guess what? You won't even need to use that patch kit. So I'm going to have cool graphics on them, like stickers, like you customize your hydro flask. You're going to be able to put your stickers. Oh, I floated Deschutes River. I floated this river. You can put patches on like stickers.
Oh, I love it so much. I love it so much. I know. I guess embroidery isn't really going to work, but I'm like, could I put my name on it? Okay, I have another question over here. Yes. What about dogs? Thank you, sir.
Good question.
What about dogs?
You know what? That's a good thought. Absolutely. I think eventually that would be amazing. And I think dogs' claws will be able to withstand, this tube will be able to withstand
Well, you could just do like a little side tube, like a little sidecar tube.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Talk to JD Platt.
All right, there we go.
Listen, I have two mediums, and I could have one on either side.
Perfect.
I can't
Let's
wait.
do it. Let's do it. We have a cat actually that goes stand up paddling with us, and she will be the face of the tube company. Yes, Blaze, our cat.
Bringing cats back.
We're
We're bringing
cats.
cats. Cats are the new dogs.
Yes. Yes, I love this question. What was the journey in finding this indestructible fabric? Like, how did you find it?
It was a journey for sure, because we had to pivot. We thought we were going to go to this one material. Now we're switching to another. You know what? It all was about coming to events like this and networking. I met a person that had a buddy that does the Lumo camping inflatables.
Yes.
And he hooked me up with this guy, and he hooked me up with the factory. And lo and behold, all the stars aligned. And now we're working with this company called Super Inflatable. I'm like, how perfect is that? So they specialize in inflatables. They know what they're doing. They actually flew down here from San Francisco to meet with us in person. So yeah, we just built a good relationship with them, and it's been awesome.
Oh, it's so great.
Yeah.
Yes, do I have other questions? Okay. What are your plans for sustainability?
Good question. I'm glad you asked, because river cleanups, we want to sponsor events. I've talked to Upper Watershed Deschutes Council and talk about giving a 1% back to the planet. And just by having this tube, by buying, how many of these would you buy versus how many of these? These are going to be in the landfill. This is going to be like your vintage clothing. This is like the fast fashion of tubes, right? Everybody knows the term fast fashion. This is fast fashion. This is going to be your one that you're going to donate and you'll find it at the thrift store later. This is vintage clothes versus fast fashion. So yeah, you will save by eliminating tubes in the landfill.
I love that. That's huge. That's really huge. Yes. Yes, I love this idea.
Absolutely.
So she says if you can get the Tumalo Creek folks to convert to using your products, that would be amazing. And it would.
Absolutely. Yep.
Right now. Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're talking to Jeff. We're getting our
Yep,
way
we're
in
talk-
there. We're upgrading the tubes.
Upgrade your tube game.
So, and the Hydro Flask looks beautiful with it. That was just, are you going to, like, people buy these directly from your website, so will you also have a Hydro Flask for sale? Will you have all the
That's a good
add-ons
idea.
that could
It's
happen?
a good idea. And maybe a little puffin thing to hide on the side, you know? Just putting it out there.
Yeah, a little tube for your bottle.
Possibilities are endless.
They really are.
Featured artists, like, can you imagine having art on tubes? Like, I got to do that for other companies so many years. Imagine having artists come in and collaborate.
Oh my
with
God, I would
us.
love to have a Sheila Dunn tube.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, would that not be the coolest?
Yes.
What I also love about this, and this might shock the audience, but I'm not an extreme sports person. And what I love about this is really just about for anybody.
Yes.
So I think that culturally, you guys really have something really special to build on, because just about anybody can come to this party and have a good time.
100%.
Oh, it's so beautiful. Okay, any other questions for these guys? And we could take this tube party all the way, but I mean,
we really could.
we really could. Okay, so your launch, tell me about the launch. So-
Yes, spring of 25. We'll be
Okay.
on my birthday, I think, March 25th. Mark your calendar. It's going to be a big party somewhere. Absolutely. But we're going to have a pre-order in December, January. So make sure you sign up for the newsletter, because there's a limited quantity. Mom says they're selling out.
Mom says they're selling out.
Yep.
Well, and what an amazing Christmas gift. Like, if I woke up to one of these, the
Absolutely.
dogs are like, "We surprised you." I'm like, "Good job, guys." That would be incredible.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, this is exciting. And come on, you guys, it's so good. Okay, so you will come back and you will give us an update and keep us posted on how everything evolves. I have a feeling that, like, version 2.0 is going to be like even more wild. Yeah. Okay.
Cannot wait.
Cannot wait. So thanks for being here. How about a round of applause?
Yeah, thank you.
For Emily,
Thank
an Employee of the
you.
Year.
Thank you.
Does Employee of the Month get like any sort of perk?
Yeah, I get to be the head tester. So I get to sled the hills and float down the rivers, and I get to look cool doing it.
And you do look cool, and then you're just like, hey, it works, and then we're good, and then we keep going on. Well, thanks, you guys. This is awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing. How about another round of applause for Ahoya? That was fun. That was fun. It was fun like Palmies was, but not as messy, which I think was nice. Yeah. We hope that you will join us for these upcoming EDCO events. We have the Made in Bend tour on May 9th. We have May PubTalk, May 23rd, right back here again. And we have the Made in Redmond tour on June 14th. Thank you for coming to PubTalk tonight and supporting these entrepreneurs. And a big special thanks to Worthy Brewing and Hand in Hand Productions for making it all happen. I'm Shannon Kelly. I can't wait to see you next month. Have a wonderful evening. Take care.